we're talking about turning rags into bags.
We are. Well, we're talking about turning rags into money and funding for hospice, yes.
So bags of cash.
Bags of cash, yes.
So how does this all work then?
Okay, so obviously people will be familiar with general donations that we receive from the public, which we are so, so grateful for. Like many organisations coming out of lockdown, we are struggling, to keep up now. We've had several months, as everybody else has, of virtually no funding at all because our retail arm ceased. So we thought, actually, as well as the general donations, we could have those things that are perhaps past their sell-by date as well.
Okay, so this is additional to the normal donations coming in?
Absolutely additional. And I don't think people know that this is something that we have been doing for quite some time now. What we want people to do is save those things that would probably go in the bin. Yeah. So if you've got a cardigan with a button missing, or a top with a broken zip, or bedding that's past its sell-by date, then please put it in a bag, mark it rags and bring it to hospice.
And so what actually happens to it at that point?
Well, this is the interesting bit. So we collect all the rags. We've been given very kindly the use of a 40-foot container from Manx Independent, and Robinsons are letting us put the container on their land next to hospice. What we want to do is fill the 40-foot container with all your bags of rags. They then get collected by Dave the Ragman, and they go off to Cookstown in Ireland, where they are recycled to developing countries.
Marvellous,
That's
yeah. I
brilliant.
like the idea of David Ragman as well coming in and picking them up. That's great. So they are literally then recycled, and they are recycled into bags. Are they used for all sorts?
No. They're recycled, they're sorted into clothing, and they're sent to developing nations for
They go
people
out.
to where they go out. Yeah, a fantastic operation in Cookstown. We get paid by the tonnage, which is why it's really important that we fill this 40-foot container. Yeah, we're about nearly a third of the way there, so we've got a long way to go. What is really important is that people put these rags in separate bags, because obviously sorting through donations takes a lot of manpower from our excellent volunteers and our staff, and what we don't want to do is have to sort through bags that have got donations in that we can sell and rags that we can't.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And is there a set time that you've got to sort of get your container filled by, as it were?
Well, as soon as possible, really, because obviously we're just loaning the space and loaning the container. So the sooner we can get it filled, the better. And I'd love to come back and let you know how much we actually raise from this initiative.
Yeah, because you did rather well in it last year, I believe.
We did over £43,000.
That's amazing. Isn't it?
And when you think that hospice provides its services free of charge, that's a lot of nursing hours that we can provide from basically what would be landfill. So let's save the environment, make money out of it.
I was going to say, so it's a win-win, isn't it? Because
It is an absolutely
it's benefiting
win-win.
hospice and it's benefiting the environment as well, which is terrific. You gave a hint of what sort of rags we're talking about. Presumably, again, you don't want anything which is stained or dirty or anything like that.
Absolutely. We can't take duvets, and we can't take anything that's soiled or stained, because they are going to be reused.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot
So
of sense.
basically, put whatever it is in a bag, label it rags. That's the important thing, isn't it? Make
It
sure
is.
you label it rags. And could they bring it to any of the hospice stores?
Up to the superstore, please, if you
Right.
don't mind. And outside the superstore's open Tuesday to Saturday, 10 till 4. And outside the superstore, you'll see cages, hopefully, if it's not raining. If it is raining, the cages have to go in. But we've got cages outside that you can just drop your bag in. And then at the end of the evening, we take the cages over to the container, and we hopefully fill the container up.
That's terrific. And again, we should say as well, I think it's obviously hospice very high profile on the Isle of Man and lots of great money-raising schemes. But it is one of these things, it really just keeps it going in essence, doesn't it? Because it's such a fantastic service. But I mean, there's so much specialist knowledge there. There's all the equipment. I know we went up with all the new wing opening up. This money is all used, and basically just to keep it going, really, isn't it?
It is to keep it going, and as I say, I don't think many people realise that all our services are provided free of charge. We rely so much on funding, public funding, corporate funding, and support from volunteers to keep that those services going, and to provide that very necessary contact with people who have life-limiting illnesses.
And again, it's not just what happens in the building itself either, is it? Because hospice is out and about in the community as well.
It is out and about in the community, and what I find is when I volunteer myself for hospice in spare time, and when I'm volunteering in one of our shops or stores, that our volunteers in our stores are our frontline troops. They're generally the first person that somebody will come into contact with, and it is really important that we're engaging with all our supporters in any way that we can and spreading the word about hospice, because I think there is that word, isn't there, hospice, that people associate it with a certain type of thing, and we would encourage anybody to come up to hospice, have a look around. We've got a lovely little cafe up there, and Andy, our chef, makes the best triple cut chips ever. So
I can vouch for those.
if you ever fancy coming up and having a meal in our cafe, please do so.
Tomorrow lunch then, H, that's you and me.
Who's buying?
It'll do.
He is.
Obviously.
Alison Lester, it's lovely to talk to you. Just let people know where they can go to find out any more information about this if they need it.
Okay, so if you ring our superstore on 615055, and please just give us a call, or even email myself, alison.lester@hospice.org.im.